I I've been watching your channel for quite some time now,
Mhm.
and I think I discovered your channel like around a year or so ago.
Yeah.
Um, I just happened to like see your videos recommended to me
Yep.
on my YouTube page, and I
Mhm.
was like, I'll check this guy out. And ever since I've been watching those videos, they've been really informative to me.
Good, I'm glad to
So
hear it.
I kind of just woke up one day and was like, you know what? Maybe now's my turn to get some coaching. And so here I am,
Sure.
wanting
Okay.
to
Well,
improve at the game.
sick, sick, sick. How long you been playing Overwatch?
So I've been playing Overwatch for quite a long time. I've been playing, I believe, since 2017. Since
Mhm.
2017.
Okay.
And I've kind of been in and out with the game sometimes, but um, yeah, I've really been enjoying this game from then and until now. So
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, that's quite a long time to play a game. Um,
yeah.
and you're primarily a tank main, at least according to your form. So, what has your kind of been your journey like from different heroes and different roles, and
Well,
why specifically mostly tank?
yeah. So since Overwatch 2 kind of hit, I actually had a bit of a gradual change. So I never actually was a tank player. I used to
Yeah.
play DPS a lot back in Overwatch 1,
Mhm.
but I got into playing tank in Overwatch 2 because I wanted to see what they did on launch with tank because fundamentally it was a lot different. So
Mhm.
I I started playing I just started playing some games as tank and I started to really enjoy the role. Like it felt good, I guess. It felt really good to be playing tank. And
Right.
so I I thought, you know what, this seems like a role I really would like to improve on, and get
Mhm.
a better understanding of how to play at like higher levels. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just thought it was just something that I really enjoyed, and so I decided, hey, let's make a change.
Sure, sure, sure. Well, welcome to Tank. I mean, obviously, a lot of things have kind of changed fundamentally. You have pretty expansive kits. The question is how are you able to outplay what the enemy team has to provide?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Excuse me again. Okay, so Ramattra and Junker Queen, but have been playing Malga too. Is that still the case at the time of? I guess now.
At the at the time now, not so much, but Ramattra and JQ have been the same. I've been playing them equally.
Okay.
Malga, not too much though.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Now, why those two characters, Ramattra and JQ specifically?
Well, I at first okay, so at first when season 1 hit for Overwatch 2,
Mm.
um I was playing a lot of like Reinhardt. I really enjoyed playing Reinhardt quite a bit because I've always just kind of liked the brawly sort of playstyle. And so um I picked up Junker Queen like I think a couple of seasons after, because at first I wasn't that interested, but until I started to play her a bit, I was like, you know what, I really do like how she plays.
Mm-hmm.
And when Ram came out, I was like, man, this character is like really awesome. Like I don't know what like how to explain it specifically, but like something just clicked when Ramattra came out, and I just like ever since I've just really been enjoying playing him. And so I think it might just be because in nature I really like the brawly sort of playstyle, which is probably
Mm-hmm.
why I gravitated towards those two tanks. But
Well, even Malga, right?
there
Like
is
that.
something, yeah, exactly. There's
Like all
something
three
really,
tanks.
really interesting about those two tanks that I've just absolutely been enjoying a lot recently.
Sure, 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 sure. Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, okay. Well, good. I'm like, I think the most important thing when it comes to Overwatch is like, are you enjoying what you're doing? And then if you're
Oh yeah, for
playing
sure.
heroes that you want to like if you're playing heroes that you enjoy playing, that's 90% of the battle right there. And if the answer is yes, then you're good to go. So you're diamond. What do you hope to get out of the session? I would like to gain a better insight of my mistakes and what things I do in game that I do not notice that inherently cause me to lose games or any bad habits I may have. Overall, I want to feel like I know what I should be doing more in my games. And by
Yeah.
understanding that, try my best to perfect these skills can help me climb. Okay. How often, how long do you play Overwatch per day? I try and play at least 2 hours a day of competitive. However, with college stressing me out, there are many days where I don't play. Okay, so you're quite busy.
Yeah.
And how often are those 2 hours a day happening realistically?
Realistically, um, I would say it's not always 2 hours I can manage. I think for for the week, I can usually manage an hour and a half. But
Hmm.
then again, it really does depend on like if I've got work to be doing, if I've got any homework, assignments, things like that. But for the most part, I think I can. I do usually try and get to the 2 hour mark, but if not, it's always at least an hour and a half that I always manage.
Okay, okay. That's fine. That's fine. I think the big thing for me is it's like finding the min. You ever heard the term the minimum effective dose?
I believe I have, yeah.
Okay, it's basically exactly what it sounds like. It's like what's the minimum amount of play that you could put in that's actually going to result in progress and growth. And
Yeah,
I
to get the
think
maximum output, yeah. Yeah.
right, right, right. Because the thing is, it's like the way the Overwatch improvement curve looks like is like those first 2 or 3 games are like 60% of your value, right? And then the next couple of games are the extra 20%. And the next 2 or 3 games are another 20%. And then it comes down to like after game 10, 11, 12, whatever, you're getting like tiny, tiny little bits of value. Because really to spark growth, whether physical or psychological, is to challenge yourself and to give yourself maximum effort. And then as that continues, the novelty wears off, the energy, the focus wears off, even by just a little bit. So the value of that session diminishes. So all that being said, I think 2 hours is something you need to aim for your goals, right?
Yeah.
But if you have those days where you are like, I just don't feel like it, if you have time, and this is crazy, to play 2 games, there's your minimum effective dose. Because you're talking about like, okay, I can get an hour and a half. That's great. But on days where you can't even get the hour and a half, even 40 minutes is decent.
Yeah,
And
good point.
I really truly is. It's not something that you'd be able to do every day and rank up for sure. But it's definitely something that's going to, let's just say, stave off the de-evolution, right? The devolving of your skill.
Hmm.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So just keep that in mind. And I think that's like a good reminder for just even when you do have your 2 hour days that you're like, I really need to be fully focused, especially for those first several games, because that's where the most value comes out. That's where the most improvement comes out.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things I always say too is if you can, taking a short break between each game is really important as well.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure. I've
so
been
just
doing plenty of those.
good, 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 good. Even just while you're in queue, 30 seconds, get up from the console, move around. You know, that stuff matters. That's something that I've developed.
Because Malga Meta absolutely rots my brain. It's
Oh yeah.
insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Hopefully that gets better. Maybe we'll even have a patch today. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, goals here. Ultimate goal has been able to reach masters one day. I've been close many times, but sometimes I just feel like I'm not good enough to be at that caliber. Short-term improvement CD usage. All right, so I'm going to be honest with you. I've been playing for 7 years, and you still have never hit masters. What's wrong?
So, okay. I probably should have explained this when you asked me like when I started playing Overwatch, but hey, I'll explain it now. So, I Overwatch released in 2016. So,
Yep.
I started playing in 2017. So, a whole year or so around had passed. So, I actually surprisingly have never heard of Overwatch like around 2016, right?
Mm,
I just didn't, right? And so, um you've heard of primary school before, right? In the
yeah.
US, I think they call it elementary school.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So
It's
yeah,
like
so
third
in
through seventh or whatever, or first through
yeah, yeah.
seventh.
So
Excuse me.
I was in primary school still. So I had one of my buddies who actually told me about the game during like that time period, and I never really was that interested, to be quite frank, until I eventually took his word for it like a year later, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll try this game out, right? And ever since I got Overwatch, I was like, this game is really really fun. Like this is an FPS game that I really really enjoyed, and keep in mind I haven't been much of an
Mm-hmm.
FPS player before. I tend to like a lot of strategy games, but it all changed when I started playing Overwatch, right? So since 2017, I've just been like on the grind with it. Like I've absolutely enjoyed it. However, during that entire time, I've never been much of a competitive player. I used to just
Mm,
kind of play the game a lot with my friends back in the day.
mm,
So
mm,
I'd
mm,
hop on with
mm.
my buddies, we'd play, have a blast, right? Because we all just loved the game at the time. And it was only, I would say, until maybe late 2019, I think, when I actually started to take a shift in how I'd play the game because um I don't want to get too into it, but some stuff happened between my friend group and it's
Yeah.
not really the same anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, since I'm kind of alone a lot more now, I'm like, you know what? Let's start playing some more competitive. I want to like um try and change the way I play the game a little bit. So I was like, you know what? Let's try and actually like fundamentally improve at the game. Let's try and actually get better. So since then I've had quite a heck of a journey. I actually when I first like fully committed to the game, like
Mhm.
I was like around a silver player. Like
Mhm.
I was really bad at the game until like I think ever since I started watching your videos and some other like coaching videos, I've started to like make a gradual change. So I climbed all the way to plat in Overwatch 1. But that was like my peak. Like I was like hard stuck at plat. And since Overwatch 2 came out, that changed. So I actually hit diamond, but obviously my peak is diamond 2. And so I've learned quite a lot, excuse me, over this time,
Yeah.
but I've never really. I mean, I guess it really just goes back to what I said in my form. I just don't really know what it is that I'm doing wrong because in my games, I just get flamed every single match, and it just sometimes I mean, it doesn't really bother me too much, but after quite a long period of time, it really starts to like get on me, you know,
Yeah.
and it really started affecting me a lot because I genuinely thought that like that I just would never be able to escape that rank. You know, like
Yeah.
I would even have people in like voice chat just like shout slurs and just really hurtful things towards me. And keep in mind, I don't really get affected by this too much, but this has been happening for like such a long period of time. And I know Overwatch's community is comparative wise can be very toxic, and I did know that going into it, but it really started to take a big mental toll on me. And so I just I just kind of grew a lack of confidence in myself, a lack of faith, and like I've just been stuck in this rank for like a very long period of time. And I think going back to why you asked me why I wanted coaching, this is another fundamental thing that I should have brought up. I just feel like I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong. And maybe there is something, and of course there probably is, but I just I just every time, man, like people just they're really just flaming me like every single match. And I just start to think, am I just am I really just this bad at the game? And
Yeah.
so that's why like I've I wanted to get a coaching session because realistically you're like my last hope because I don't know what else I can do. And so I really hope I can actually understand what it is that I'm doing wrong from another point of view.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
First off, it makes a lot of sense that you've spent a lot of time essentially playing the game, but not really playing the game seriously, and
Hmm.
so that can be a real positive and a negative thing. The negative thing is that you develop a lot of bad habits, right? It's not just not playing the game; you're actively
Yeah.
playing the game and potentially in a wrong manner, developing bad habits. I just had a discussion last week. And we talked about how to players like, I've been playing this since 2017. I should know better. But then, no, actually, the answer is no. In fact, it explains a lot if you've been playing since 2017 and have not been playing as seriously, right? It's a lot of time to develop bad
Hmm.
habits. But the good thing about that is that, you just were playing for fun. The social aspect of the game is the most fun. In fact, that's the only way that I play the game now, right? I'm hard washed, but I love playing with friends. It's a lot of fun. And ultimately, there's
Yeah.
nothing necessarily inherently good or bad about playing competitively. If you want to get better, sure, but doesn't make you a better person or a cooler guy necessarily. So whatever. Friends group shifted. So a lot of your time spent, at least a couple of years, has been kind of wasted, quote unquote, competitively. Not wasted socially, but wasted competitively.
Yeah.
So you've built a lot of bad habits, but you did rank up to diamond. And since then, you've been stuck. And whether that's a lot of bad habits, whether that's a lack of understanding. I'm going to look at your form here. I'm honestly not quite sure. I hope, however, to give a better understanding of this during my session, but I think it may be understanding. Sometimes I just don't know what to do in certain matchups, which can be very hard for me. We'll take a
Yeah.
look. We'll figure.
That part applies
Yeah,
very,
we'll
very
we'll, we'll
much.
take a look. But I want to actually unpack probably the most important thing, which is exactly what's happening in voice chat and chat and all that kind of stuff. you are getting abused.
Yeah.
And there's two reasons why
That's one way to put it. Yeah.
There are two reasons why this is. One, because this happens to everybody in voice. And I don't generally play with voice when I play ranked.
Oh no. I've as soon as like I remember I saw one of your VODs where you were talking about how you can disable match chat, and I
Yeah,
knew you could disable voice chat, but I was like, wait, you can actually disable match chat.
you
So as soon
can.
as I figured that out, I was like, oh my gosh, playing competitive got a whole lot better. But like, I just think my mentality still hasn't changed. Like I still all the blame, right? Like anytime I lose a team fight or anytime I just lose a match overall, I have this really bad mindset of just
Yeah.
shifting all of that blame on myself because
Mm-hmm.
that's just kind of all I've really known is like, oh well, I guess it's
Right.
just my fault.
Well,
Right?
this is where we get to my next point, because even if you have all the chat disabled, there's a reason why you're going to take a lot of the blame previously. It's because you're a tank. And not just only a tank, but you're the brawl tank. So when I talked about this, actually, I had a video about this a little while ago about like the cardinal sin for each role, right? DPS is ego, support is pride, and for tank, a lot of it is because you're in the front line, engaging, initiating, you're taking action. You're doing things. You're taking risks. You are setting the line. You're laying your body at like a carpet for your team to utilize so they can actually win the fight, right? But the problem is that you're going to feed sometimes. You're going to die, and you're going to take punishment, and you're going to demand resources, and sometimes you're going to demand resources when you should, and sometimes you're going to demand resources when you shouldn't, and your supports and your DPS are going to see every single mistake that you make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you know what?
And I remember in one of your videos, you were saying with support players as to why why they flame a lot of the time is because they typically are able to see a lot of the mistakes a
Exactly.
lot better due to their positioning. And I do remember that, and I was like, you know what, that's a very good point.
And ironically, a lot of the time as well, support players fail because, especially in Overwatch 2, they fail because of a lack of proactivity.
Yeah.
So whenever, I mean, you've probably, I mean, if you've seen any of my support VOD reviews, I would say literally 90, even 95% of the VOD reviews of every support, every rank is a lack of proactivity in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
every
definitely.
single one.
I mean, I don't play. Sorry to cut you off there. I don't just play tank. I do play other roles here and there, but obviously I do at the moment primarily play tank. But I play, excuse me, a lot of support too, and I mainly play Kiriko, and that is so true. Like proactivity is definitely one of the things I've been trying to work on too. Like helping.
But you see why that's a problem.
Things like that. Exactly. Yeah.
Because if they don't take proactive action, you suffer. But they don't die necessarily or feed, and so that you're still the problem.
Yes.
The tank.
I definitely, yes.
Right? That's the sleeper problem with tank, really, is the fact that you are more likely to be punished for your tanks or your DPS and support's lack of proactivity. So, actually, I need to write that down. I need to make a video on that. See, look at this. You're helping me already. Tanks suffer. Yeah, look at that. From teams because your situation is not unique. You yourself as a person are unique, but this particular situation is not unique because it's the nature of, I guess it's old habits die hard, really, which is kind of funny because it's what we were talking about with, you going back in 2018 and 2019. And it's like sometimes a lot of supports had a lot of priority in living, and now that's just not good enough anymore. And so that's why so many DPS players have done such a good job with support play in Overwatch 2. And long story short, you're the punching bag, both for your team and the enemy team. And now that you've done that for so long, you have now conditioned yourself. Now, I don't know what kind of a person you are outside of the game, but at least in the game, you condition yourself to be the jackass, that you're the idiot. You're the one that we're all going to poke fun and make fun of. And that's kind of the problem. And see, the really dangerous problem about that is you're not wrong. You're not necessarily the person to blame for every game, but if you're looking for mistakes, especially at the diamond level, you're going to find mistakes. If you think back to every game, you are going to make at least half a dozen decisions that throw the game. Right?
Yeah.
The problem is you're not the only one making those decisions. We could look at your DPS and support, and they'd be making just as many decisions that are throwing the game. But the problem is that you're only fixated on yours. You don't see what your DPS and supports are doing, maybe not necessarily. And the reason why this is bad is it's not because, oh, it feels bad and makes you sad. But the reason why I always say that it's bad to be hyper fixated on your own errors is because it shifts your attention away from what you ought to be focusing on, which is ironically your mistakes, but not in the way that you're doing it right now. Not in that I'm bad, I do this. What are you going to do that's good next game or next fight?
Yeah.
And if you're the type of person, right? And if you're the type of person that makes a mistake and dies, I remember there's some advice thrown around out there that people were saying that like whenever you die, you should take a second and think about what you did, what mistake, and what you could have done better. And I actually think that's really bad advice. And I've tried to never coach that. I think if you die, you kind of just like unless it's like a super fast analysis, give yourself 2-3 seconds, but you need to already be spending that time while you're in spawn thinking about what you're going to do next.
What can you do next?
Right. Maybe not even what you could do better, but just like, because the fight might have changed. Maybe you guys won the fight or lost the fight and the fight location is different, or now you have an ultimate or now you don't have an ultimate. And so like you need to figure out what you need to do next. I'm not saying that you can't learn from those, but I don't think in the middle of the game, it's not a good time for soul searching. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you have the replay viewer. So.
Exactly. That's why we have the replay viewer when you're in a more objective position to actually, because when you're in game, you're training. You're not learning necessarily. You're training. You're practicing something. It's when you get outside of a game and review with me or when to review with yourself, that's when you're learning. So, all this being said is like, you're aware that this is an issue. I'm explaining to you why this might be an issue, but ultimately we have to kind of come up with some solutions here. And this is the bad news. This is the hardest part. And this is really the most intangible part. I was just talking with a friend of mine the other day about how like it's hard to not take every loss personally, and it ultimately comes down to like personal development. There isn't like a life skill that you can just like, oh, snap my fingers. I lost 100 pounds.
Let's just say it's nowhere near as like bad as it used to be.
Well, why? Like, why is it better?
It's
what have you done?
I've basically like I guess I kind of had like sat downs with myself at times where I would kind of just like sit down and just think to myself for like half an hour maybe and just kind of just look at myself a bit more objectively and just think like, well, why am I really taking all this blame? Like, why am I always having to just tell myself that I'm just worthless? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
right.
why do I have to treat myself that way? And
Right.
I think it's just kind of changed over time. Like, as I've grown a little bit older, I've had my fair share of ups and downs in life. A lot of the downs kind of really just changed the way that I kind of view myself and the world. And there's no simple answer as to what I've been doing, but it's kind of just this gradual life cycle, I guess, that I've kind of been through where I would like actually think to myself, why am I just listening to a bunch of idiots playing a video game on a screen?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's kind of like an epiphany, right? Like I sat down and I was like, why am I treating myself so negatively? Like, this isn't what I used to do back in 2017. Like, I would play the video game to just really have fun with my friends. And I'm like, I kind of realized I can still have that whilst being serious about the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of one of the biggest shifts in my mindset that I've had. Because I'm like, this is what a video game is for, right? Just to have fun, right? Kill some time, enjoy yourself. Not just lose yourself in this this black hole that you've created. This void.
There's this weird trap. Go ahead, finish.
At the end of the day, it's just a video game.
It really is. There's this weird trap where it's like, I think people get obsessed with just being good at things just for the sake of being good at things. And I've talked about this a lot recently. But the reason why I think it is a little especially dangerous is I don't think Overwatch is too bad. But there are especially things like mobile games, they feast off of the human's desire to be productive. And so that they insert, MMOs are terrible at this, right? As inserting a sense of false productivity that's only sustainable inside the game. And so that's something that can happen in Overwatch as well, where it's like, I need to be productive in Overwatch, but wait, do I? And the problem with that drive, if it becomes too dominant, then the irony is that even if you wanted to rank up because you're so focused on playing perfectly, that then you steal the joy and you don't even want to play anymore and you're not getting better. So it's like this
Yeah.
miserable cycle. And I think the really dangerous thing, really dangerous thing, and maybe this is something that you've kept an eye on it, and I'm glad that you've worked at, but it's really bad when you develop that skill in Overwatch and it starts to leach into your life outside of Overwatch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like especially when like early days 2019, it really started to affect my life, like my social life, my relationship with my friends, my family. It really sucked. It was like and it kind of went on until like 2020, which is why I would say 2020 was one of the worst years of
Mm,
my life because well, I was just so like you said, like it just got like ingrained in my into like my actual life, and
yeah.
I was just so unbelievably miserable. And
I
I'm
had,
just glad
funny?
that
You know what's
like
funny? You know what's
things have
funny?
changed.
That
Hmm.
was that year was the same thing for me too. 2020.
Yeah,
As I was
I'm
pursuing
not. I
Overwatch
don't. I
League,
don't blame you, man.
I was pursuing Overwatch League. I had some really bad experiences with teams that were kind of outside of my control. I took all the responsibility for it. Sound familiar, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
there's a line between taking responsibility and blaming everything for yourself, because that one destroys your motivation and destroys your confidence.
I
And
mean,
my
I can't
confidence,
imagine being like a coach for the London Spitfire. Like
right,
all that
right.
stress that you must have
Right.
had.
Right. Well, that actually wasn't even so bad, because at that point I was bulletproof. Right. I at that point, because by that 2020
Yeah.
with Uprising Academy, um, was awful. Like I almost quit. I mean, I did quit coaching for a little bit there. I was like,
Hmm.
I was done. It destroyed my because when it starts with your confidence, and then it starts with your love of the game, your motivation, and then you don't even want anything involved with the game at all. And it definitely affected me outside the game. It affected my health. So I know exactly how you feel, and this is why Overwatch 2 is such a double-edged sword. It is such a phenomenal game and such a useful tool for developing life skills. But really, like the most wonderful things in life, it can cut back. The aberrations and the deviance of Overwatch 2 are just as destructive as the good things, in terms of, it can really ruin you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
So I guess, what's the plan forward? You've improved things, right? And we've talked about it a little bit. And maybe it's nothing major or significant, but what would you like to continue to do to like stay focused on your own gameplay without obsessing and beating yourself up and distracting yourself?
Well, I think. I mean, as they say, the best thing you can really do
Mm-hmm.
is just practice, right?
Yep.
Continue playing the game, and I guess just put myself in more of those scenarios because I remember in one of your videos you were you advising to this person to try and get competitive to almost be like quick play for
Yep.
you, and that's basically what I have been doing from a certain point up until now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, it's really is nowhere near like as bad as it used to be. However, I
Mm-hmm.
do have my off days, but when that does strike, I'm always like, okay, if I'm really not enjoying this game or if something's happening, right, I just take a break. I take a break for maybe 15 minutes. It really depends. It really depends. I
Yep.
come back to the game, and if I really am still not feeling it, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna call off for the day because I'm really just gonna get nowhere. Right. So
Yep.
that's it. Let's try again tomorrow. But in terms of what you're saying, I just think it really goes down to that element of just putting myself out there and just well not giving a shit, right?
Yeah.
What other
Yeah.
people think. Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
focus on you. Don't think about what other people think. And just if something does go wrong, like you perfectly said, just go next, right? Prepare for the next fight and just continue that sort of mindset. So it's basically all that you just outlined that I'm basically trying to slowly creep into my mindset because not too fast, right? Because it's obviously we as humans, we can't process such drastic change. But over a certain period of time, we can try and get that ingrained, right? So
Right.
I think it really boils down to the fact that of just putting myself out there and just trying to think, right? What is it that I can do better? But obviously, if if like during a match, there's not much time to think about it, just go next, and try and use that replay view to just think, what could I have done differently in that fight? Ignoring what my other teammates are doing, because it really is about me. What can I do to be a better
Right.
player at the game in order to improve?
Honest question. Since 2020, have you expanded this kind of stuff that you do besides Overwatch? Like whether it's college, social life, family, different skills, different hobbies?
Yeah, what I did was I took a, I would say like a 3 month, 4 month kind of break from the game because
Yep.
it really was just destroying my life. And I'm like, you
Yep.
know what? I need to make a change. I need to fix my relationships that I've damaged, broken,
Mm. Oh, it must have been
reconcile the
hard.
people that I've lost, and yeah, just really just stop with the game, escape the digital reality, and just head into like real life, right? So
Yeah.
escape that
Yeah.
digital world that I was just so trapped in, and just work on myself as a human being through like prayers and stuff. Is and it really has changed my life. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like
Good.
if it weren't for that change I made of taking a break, I probably would just be the same person I was all those years ago right now
Mm-hmm.
if it weren't
Mm-hmm.
for that big break I took. And since I came back, my mindset has changed a lot
Good.
since I last kind of had those sort of existential thoughts about myself.
Good. Good. I was going to ask because it's very rare that you have the ability to kind of move past something like that without
Oh no, it's
something
not been
extra.
easy. It's not been
Without
easy.
right.
It's taken years in order
Of
to get to
course.
where I am now.
Well, it's rare without having something that's external to Overwatch having impact on that. Right. One of the things I always realize is with people that really struggle with their relationship with Overwatch, often just have a relationship with Overwatch, and they don't
Hmm.
have a relationship with anything else. And so then when it's
Exactly.
hard to not feel personal and frustrated with Overwatch when it is everything to you. And as soon as you start to
Oh yeah.
expand your horizons a little bit, you
Oh
start
yeah.
to realize that, man, there's life outside of Overwatch. And then maybe you'll approach the Overwatch with a more healthy mindset. Sounds like that to at least an extent has happened with you. So good on
Oh
you.
yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep up the good fight. If anything happens in the future, and if you have any questions about any of this, this is something that I'm very familiar with because, I mean, my job was for years and has been for years working with people who are in the exact same position as you. So just message
Hmm.
me. Just message me anytime you'd like. But I think I'm glad to hear that you've been making progress. And honestly, at this point in time, you don't need to spend any more time than you already are playing Overwatch. We just need to find like what is missing in terms of the understanding and then just see what happens. Maybe we get
Yeah.
masters, you know?
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, of course, of course. All right. Do we want to look at some codes here?
Yes. I'll just pull one up right now.
Sure. Sleep looks good, by the way. That's the last thing on your form. And I was like, all right, 8 hours. We'd love to see it.
That doesn't apply to everybody though.
Yeah, yeah, no, it doesn't.
All right. I think yeah, we'll do this code. I'm just typing it now.
Yeah, no problem.
And I do have another code, but depending on how far we get in this session, we'll see if we have time for that next
Yep,
one.
sounds good. Gibraltar and Ramattra.
This I would just like to say right now, Gibraltar, I don't think there's a map in this game that I've been playing for this entire time, right? All these
Right.
years, that I struggle on more than Gibraltar. I don't know what it is. And that's
It
why I really hope I can learn something from you here because
okay.
I'm shit at this map.
Yeah, it's funny that you should bring this up because this is definitely it might be one of Ramatra's worst maps.
Yeah, and
If
I know this for a fact because it's like mobility heroes like Winston, Diva, they
yeah,
perform significantly better on these maps, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
I am not right going to play somebody who I don't really like because I'm like, okay,
right,
I want to play Ram, so I'm gonna play Ram, right? It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be very rough. But let's just see if I can. What is it? What is there that I can do? You know what I mean on
right,
this match? What
right.
is it that I can do?
Well, here's what you can do: you can poke some heroes out relatively well. You
Yeah.
can clear and rotate out high ground at some points when you really need to, like rotate to high ground, force it out, right? And then you can do a little bit of forcing cart. You're pretty, because you have so much HP and mitigation to play with. You can leverage cart yourself, something similar to what Reinhardt does. So let's talk about this. So, Ram, ultimately the goal is to punch squishies in the face. That's the goal.
Hmm. Yeah.
Problem with this map is it's hard to get to those squishies and it's hard to punch them in the face. So then you have to
Very
think
difficult.
creatively, like we said, about what can I do? Can I poke? Can I just abuse my survivability, let my team take space for me, and I just push cart, push cart, push cart, push cart, push cart, push cart, push cart? You kind of see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's another option. Not something that you often do with Ramattra, but it's definitely something to consider. So let's find out. So one thing here with your shield, and instead of making this just a how do we win on Gibraltar?
Wait, have you played the replay?
Yeah, I
Because I
have.
think it's frozen on my end.
Really? Let me stop the stream again and restart. You might need to click my or tap on my profile picture on your phone and then tab back over to the stream if you see that. Because I restarted the stream and you might not see it, so you need to like tap on my profile picture.
I'm on my laptop for this.
Okay. Okay. So just click on my profile picture at the top of the Discord call, and then you should see something on the left that shows the stream.
Yep, I see it. I think we're good to go now.
Okay, so I'll play it again and let me know if it's still going. Can you see it moving?
Yeah, it's a little bit laggy, but I can see it.
Okay. Interesting. Let me make sure there's nothing running on my end behind the scenes here. Should be okay. It might just be lagging in your end. If it gets really bad, worst case scenario, just let me know. I'll record something and I'll send it to you. And then if you have any questions, you can message me afterwards. We'll figure something out. Don't worry. Regardless, can you see what's happening here?
Yes.
You're on high ground. One of the things you have to understand with Ramattra is that you do not want to waste your resources. You want to you want to make sure that they get value. You are using a 1,000 HP shield that lasts for 3 seconds. When those 3 seconds have expired, it's going to expire, or 4 seconds, excuse me. You need to make sure that the shield gets value. To make sure that the shield gets value, I want to shoot first, make the enemy team look at me, then shield. That's kind of the order of
So you're
operations you
saying I
want.
should engage my primary and then shield right
Correct.
after once
You
the
should
team
start
starts looking
shooting
at.
first, then shield afterwards.
So
that
bait
way,
the attention, then you
exactly,
shield.
exactly. Get
Okay.
min-max every bit of detail, because right now, this is when you
Right.
should be shielding right now, right? Unfortunately, this means the shield's about to expire, and so then now this Sojourn with Mercy, obviously the Diva's a problem, right? But this hack, the Sojourn with Mercy, this should be blocked for an extra 2 seconds. It's not.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Something to consider.
Yeah, makes sense so far.
But yeah, absolutely. That's really now the only exception to that rule is if there's like a crowd control, like a sleep dart that you need to block, right? Obviously, then use it there. But if it's just raw damage, don't immediately pop the cooldown. Good?
Yeah.
I mean, this is okay in theory. This is okay in theory. My only question was, could we have lived up here longer and put more pressure? And the answer is yes, if you had been better.
Yeah,
with
because
your
it's
shield.
always about uptime, isn't it?
It is. It is. You don't. What you're doing here is not bad. The idea is good. Putting pressure on high ground, trying to clear it out. But how you did it was bad. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say bad. Just could have been better.
It just could have been better. Yeah.
Exactly. Do it again here, even if you want to. And this is where you have to make a decision. Are you going to push high ground like you just did, or are you going to push cart? Because on this map, both can work. Because nobody's pushing cart right now, so you might as well try. If they push you, you could shield, you could nemesis form, you can run away, you could waste your time, make them drop, whatever. Or you could go do what you're doing here and push them here. I don't care what you do, but as soon as your soldier's back, guess what? He's back. Make the decision, make the action.
Okay.
How's the visuals for you looking right now? Is it laggy? Are you good?
It's gotten better. It's gotten better, but
Okay.
just it still lags just a teeny bit.
Let me turn the stream quality down just a tiny bit. That way, maybe it'll be a little bit better. You'll have to do the same click over thing on my profile picture, by the way. Let me know when you're back in. Got it?
Back in.
All right. Good. Good. All right, push him out.
I didn't
Good.
really want to go alone there.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So this is again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here. Good idea, not the best execution. So I want you to tell me what's the issue here.
So I'm just gonna presume that I should because I didn't really min-max this. I probably should have used my primary first, get some attention, shield right after to obviously if they were gonna use cooldowns, I would be able to block that with the shield. And once those cooldowns are gone, I can then engage with Nemesis. That's
Yep.
what I think I should have done. But instead, I just Nemesis.
Yeah. Couldn't put it better myself. That's it. You got it. You got it. Use your cooldowns here. Your cooldowns would be immensely valuable.
Yeah,
talk about uptime. Talk about pressure. Talk about what could you do with the vortex here in terms of forcing. But yeah, absolutely. I got nothing else to add. Block that hack. And obviously, maybe you could have blocked a little bit sooner. You did get booped by the D.Va, I think. Yeah. Which is a little bit unfortunate. But again, it comes down to, it's not even really min-maxing. It's just like doing the basic cycle and you messed up. So it's like, it's kind of funny because you actually have the right idea of what to do. Again, you're just not doing it very well. And it's specifically...
Do you think I should have just blocked as soon as I saw my armor was just gone? Like,
probably, yes. Yes, probably, yes.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have been wise. But I want to put the priority...
I was like a second too late because I was like, let's see if I can get like one more punch onto the Sombra, but then again, like as soon as like my armor's gone, I should realistically be blocking.
Yeah. I just want to put the priority on your CDs because that's what put you in such a bad hole. And the other reason as well that's with priority because it's now the second engagement in a row where there's been some mismanagement of CDs. So the good news is that you have the right idea. The bad news is that you need to improve your CD usage to make the good ideas work. Much better shield. Use that vortex. You could use the vortex here, but yeah, it's a little late there.
Yeah, it was. I was going to, but like I realized a second late, so I used it too late.
So let's talk about this. Shield's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe the timing is a tad early. That's the only thing I would say here. Maybe not. No, I think your team is okay. So your team is engaged. Shield is good. Damage is good. Nemesis is fine. This is where you need to block a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
So again, right idea. Just I want to see you block a little bit sooner. I would probably grab the Mega here. I was gonna say. But that was better. That was better in terms of the shield usage.
Significantly. Yeah,
much better. And you could tell because you allowed your team to get off a free res. You allowed your team to walk out for free. You also took the D.Va to really, really, really low. Okay, here we go. Let's go. CD usage is crucial here. Walk.
Oh yeah.
You got to be decisive. You got to go.
Yeah, I was okay. I didn't really know what to do here because I'm like, okay, I want to try and flank, right? But I was like, okay, I need to be very careful with this because I need to be able to know if I can get the hell out of here alive, right? If something bad does happen.
Maybe you don't get out alive.
I was like, oh, what do I do here?
Maybe you don't get out alive, but you need to get your big bang for your buck. Your team is set up, positioned for this. Yeah. You have full HP, you have full CDs. I mean, this is what you're waiting for, right?
I suppose. I was worried.
I mean, I would be worried too, but there's not a lot you could do here. You either do this or you do nothing. Or maybe you push cart, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe you could push cart instead. But like, you got to make a decision, you know?
I probably could have, but like, I just think, like, since those last couple of fights have taken place, I was like, okay, I need to just do something because I went into this match knowing it was just going to be rough, right? Considering they're running D.Va, I'm on Ram, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So that's why I was like, okay, maybe I try and flank it, see if I can create a bunch of space, allow my team to walk, whatever it may be. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I was a bit decisive on that. But I was like, can I get support here? You know? But maybe that's not what I need.
Good start. Now, this is a question of whether you should be opening with Nemesis first or opening with Omnic. I think Nemesis is the correct play here. because you're
Is they're
going
all
right
there.
for
The
the
whole team
squishies.
is right
You're
there.
going right for the squishies. Nemesis has the speed boost that you need, and it's a little bit easier to do damage to squishies than trying to track with Omnic. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So if you're engaging from here, Omnic into Nemesis, but engaging from here, just skip the steps, go right to Nemesis, and then use that Vortex here. The only thing I would say here, trying to
Is
set
probably the placement of the vortex.
right, the placement of the Vortex, I would prefer you to, instead of being vague with it, pick one target. Don't try to get all the targets. Pick one target. So it could have been a little bit closer to that Kiriko. Also, I'm not sure if I would shield first here. I'm thinking no, because you could I think you're going to be okay. So maybe then just so you have your shield after Nemesis. What do you think?
I mean, I think engaging without shield is fine here. I think it's fine.
I think
I
so too.
think I think I could just hold on to the shield later if I would need it for any purpose. I think this is fine. I think this is
Sure.
fine.
Okay, I think so too. I like the target priority here. Next target.
Oh, by the way, the thing's frozen again.
Okay. Can you see it
Oh,
now?
wait. I think it's fine though.
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. You think you played that fight well?
Oh, really?
I think you played the fight well. I think the only thing you needed to do better was place.
Hard throwing.
No, you needed to place the vortex more accurately on the squishy, and you need to not miss the punch on the Kiriko, and preferably track her after she's teleported. All little micro, like mechanical things. But the idea, the timing, even the cooldown usage, and even when you disengaged and blocked, all fine. Okay, checking your team's positioning. Okay, go. You're not there. Okay, drop. I would immediately drop here. Okay, you're gonna flank. That's fine. Go.
Oh wait, I think it's frozen.
Is it frozen again? Can you see yourself on the Kiriko now?
Wait, I think it's as soon as I'm saying it's frozen, it's back to normal.
Just keep saying it's frozen. Just repeat it over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see where you're at right now on top of the Kiriko?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is great. You pushed at a good time. You caught onto the backline. The vortex is exactly what we want. This is when, again, I want to see Nemesis form right now. You're on top of Squishy. Let it rip. Let's see what you do.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Next target is good. Good blocking. Perfect block timing here.
Dude,
right?
this is freezing way too much for me.
Here's what I'm gonna do: I'm just gonna narrate. So you're on the Sombra. You're engaged. You took the flank. You engaged perfectly. Can you see any more?
Wait, hang on. Do you think it would be better if I join the call on my phone? Do you think it would? Do you think
I 100% would think it would be better. Yes, give it a shot.
Do you mind if I just leave real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'll be back in just a sec.
Sounds good. All right, surely we make this work. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go back a little bit. Let me know how it looks in your end.
Oh my gosh, 1,000 times better.
Let's go. That's awesome. All right. Man. All that being said, this is a good fight from you. The block was good. You're blocking. You drop the shield. You dance around the shield. I don't even know where your team is, honestly. Like, your team is... I literally do not know where your team is. Okay, I don't even know where they're going. Anyway, this was a really good fight from you. You set up an angle.
Even though I missed out most of the things that you were saying, but that's all right.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's screw it. Let's go back. Let's show you. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is it. You see this?
Yeah.
This is it. Perfectly placed vortex. Right, Nemesis. Bam, bam.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam. Oh, I'm dropped armor. I block. Shield. And then even you do a shield dance here. Woo. She EMPs you. Desperate. You duck behind cover behind the cart. You duck the virus. Oh, it's just beautiful. Great vortex. Great Nemesis form. You did not need to use ultimate here. That is the only ugly mark in this entire fight.
Yeah, I
You
only used my ult there because I was like, I'm kind of holding on to this a bit too long, so I just wanted to use it.
fair enough.
But
Your Nemesis form was all you needed for this fight. These guys were cooked.
yeah,
You might have needed to use it if they'd recontested, but then you want to use it when they recontest and not now. So, yeah, this is good. Don't even bother chasing too much here. They're just going to get out. So, yeah. Okay. Nice. So, you have to think right now. And
wait,
this is a
real
little.
quick, is there any way I can like full screen on your share screen? Because I'm only seeing like
Yes.
the three
There
things.
should be a little like square icon on the stream. If you tap it with your finger, and
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
see it, perfect,
and then you can
perfect.
just rotate the phone and you should be good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So right now you got to start thinking Gibraltar, right? In other words, you got to be thinking, I want to punch squishies, but I know where these squishies are going to go pretty soon. They're going to go up here. So once you've like finished, poking a little bit here, you need to move your butt cheeks and get up here with your soldier. You need to get up in here. Because if you're here, you could drop and punch squishies if you need to. But more importantly, if they're up here, you can actually access them, right? So your priority here is like you're getting good poke damage in, but like you know these squishies are going to end up here. You know it. Like you could have helped stop your soldier dying by actually punching out the Sombra. You're sitting here when all the Sojourn is doing is she's building rail off of you, and then she's going to go. You know what? I'm bored of this jerk, and she's going to slide up to high ground, and you're just going to stand there and you're going to be able to do nothing.
Yeah, I feed her rail, then she'll have that available to assassinate one of my teammates.
Exactly. So at some point she's just going to get bored, and she will have at least the opportunity to take high ground. That's a good shield.
By the way, okay, I was gonna say I don't think that's really too good because I could just play the cover like on this. I don't know what this thing is. This thing to my right.
Yeah,
I
whatever
could just
this
play
is.
that corner.
Well, I'm assuming that you're walking forward to start punching people here.
I don't know. I was a bit autopilot here, so I don't know.
Right. So then that's the question. Are you just passively pushing hard and AFKing, in which case the shield is bad? Are you walking forward to pressure the Sojourn or pressure this Kiriko, in which case the shield is good? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying.
So ask yourself that question in those moments.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. It was just a small little autopilot here.
Yeah, I got you. Sojourn, and this is kind of what I talked about with the high ground, right? Like, it's not just, the high ground, but you just don't have the vision that you need, right? Thankfully, the enemy team is playing in front of you. Oh my days, what happened?
I just get deleted.
Oh, you got hacked, and then
yeah, the hacks I couldn't block.
Yeah, hack Kitsune Rush. Yeah, I mean, obviously you could have played cover there a little bit better, but I think that's mostly because you were looking for Sojourn. Main thing there is honestly just you should have taken the opportunity to rotate high ground. You had the opportunity, you didn't take it. Sucks.
Yep.
Okay, now you have the opportunity though. Huge. Good. Good. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Get her. Get her. Drop the vortex to go. Yeah, I was gonna say you could be way more ballsy here. Drop the shield here if you want to. Drop the vortex and just beat the crap out of them. Your team is pushing forward. I'm sorry. There's just nobody in here that should be able to punch you out here. This is insane. So by backing up, you're kind of screwing yourself over here. You should die here, actually. Oh my days. Yeah, you should die. Just if you're on a squishy, punch the squishy. That's what's gonna keep you alive.
I guess I didn't do it because like I just saw so many of them. Like I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna get deleted if I try and like kill them, but I suppose not. I suppose not.
Right. I don't know. Certainly that was an opportunity to at least put some pressure out here.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I definitely could have done that to some extent.
The good news is that you're on the high ground. Get this Kiriko out. Yes. Get her out. Nice. Now next target. Go get her. Get her.
I missed a couple of shots.
It's okay. Vortex. Be careful. You are split from your supports. Don't over pursue. Okay. Block that back. Nice job. This is good. I mean, really, honestly, this is good. This is good. It's not consistently good, but it's quite good at times. You're doing a pretty good job rotating high ground. The main thing for me has been like, are your CDs complementing action? Like, are you using them at the right times? And then, are you consistently playing in high ground? Go. Block.
I got stuck.
It's funny. It's funny because it's the same kind of problem. Watch this. What should you do right now?
Probably. Okay, probably poke first,
No,
then
no, 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 no. See,
um
this is where you made the mistake. You have a squishy directly in front of you, and you're skipping the enemy tank. Go right now. Skip to the end
by
goal.
do you mean the Iliari?
Yes, go get her. Like right now,
Right.
this is where you shield, vortex, nemesis right now. Get in her face, especially because you have your ultimate.
Right.
Don't sit here and play patty cake with her, right? Go for the kill. Go for the kill right now. Because again, because you're playing patty cake in your nemesis form or your omnic form, this means that when you get hacked or poked out, you're dead. Right? Because you didn't get that nemesis form armor and speed boost until it was too late. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right here is your opportunity. This is what you're waiting for. You could sneak in here. You might not even need to use your shield, just vortex and nemesis form. But even if you did use your shield, fine, and get in there. Go. They're punishing you for your moments where you're just a little bit indecisive when you have squishies in close range. Now you could shield and shoot because you're just trading and poking and poking and poking. Now the squishies are so far away, so you don't need to really worry about anything. Just keep poking and keep poking and keep poking. Shield there is maybe a little early. I would think I would shoot and shield again, right? You know that routine.
Yeah.
Good. Poke them out. Poke them out. Patient, 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 patient. Good. Good. Vortex. Oh, close. That's a mechanical problem. She should have died there.
I did the melee combo when I shouldn't have.
That's
I
okay.
don't know what I was
That's
doing
okay.
there.
That's okay. That's okay. But you notice how we've not really complained about your nemesis form usage here. Why?
I mean, I just presume it's been all right, I guess, so far.
But why? Why has it been all right? What was different about this fight as opposed to the last fight, and even really the fight before that?
I've been using my CDs a little bit better, I guess.
Sure, sure, sure. But with the nemesis form specifically, remember this situation here? What was the difference between this fight and this fight here?
I wasn't like as decisive, I think, like this time. I was like I have the opportunity and I just went for it like as soon as I saw it this time.
Look at the back line, the squishies that you wanted to punch, and look at their positioning this fight. You see the distance here?
Yeah.
This is not really something that you can nemesis. It's too far. So all you've really done this fight is poke squishies a little bit, but mostly just kind of trade with tank. Like, look what you're doing with the diva right here, right? Do you understand the difference between that and your opportunity here? You kind of see the difference between these two engagements?
I think I do, but I don't think I'm still on the same page as you right
That's
now.
okay. Look at the distance between yourself and the squishies, and look at how the Iliari doesn't even know that you're there.
Right.
There should be no hesitation on pulling the trigger. You don't
Right,
need to
because
poke.
I can get her right now if I
Right.
want.
You don't need to poke and prod. Here, you need to poke and prod. I mean, look at this. Look how far away they are, right? You just need to poke and prod. Shoot, shield, vortex. Find an opportunity to push forward when you can. But this is the right play. The key thing with Ramattra is poke, prod, shield, cover, corner, tank trade. When you see an opportunity like this right now to get on top of a squishy, you do so immediately. That's the difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so you need to be asking myself, where am I being too indecisive? Where am I being maybe too eager to push forward? A little bit of an early shield there as well. I think it could have poked a little first, taken some damage, and shielded.
They were already backing up. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, you just saw that Sojourn use slide. I don't know if you saw that, but that needs to be something that you're looking for. Watch this. Sojourn actually slides in right here. She is really close to you. You have your Vortex, you have your Nemesis. This is a trigger pull right here.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think you saw it, but you need to be looking for it. Even just the fact that the Sojourn is right here, that's a trigger pull. That's a trigger pull right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because even if I don't get the kill, I'll at least force her out that way.
Exactly.
And she'll demand resources.
Exactly. It's just so much easier to do things with Ramattra in this situation. And like right now, there it is. I mean, you could even trigger a little bit there. Now it's too late. And it's like through those missed opportunities, your team is going to slowly lose this fight because those squishies are not under enough pressure. I mean, even the fact that you could be trigger pulling a little earlier here, like you just go in and kind of feed a little bit and then pop your annihilation. You're missing opportunities. So let's actually stop there because I want to take some notes here. Ramattra.
All right.
What needs to be practiced? We've talked about a couple of different things.
So, what needs to be practiced is, with my shield, I need to try and do a bit of poke first, so that way, when the enemy team is looking at me, they're more inclined to use their CDs, and when that's about to happen, I then shield. That way, I can get the most out of my shield that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to try and use that in some scenarios when I want a nemesis, I suppose. Just so, depending on certain comps, so if there's like an honor, for example, I want a shield probably first, just so I don't get slept or anything, and then go into my nemesis.
And then
finally, I'm not
pull the
sure if I'm
trigger.
going to word this. Yeah, pull the trigger. So don't be too indecisive. Like if the opportunity is there, go for it. But if it's not, just sit back, poke, play cover, until the opportunity presents itself, and then go in for it with Nemesis.
Mm-hmm. Proximity is the big thing. In other words, how close am I to that target? And that's why you use your shield and that's why you use your Omnic form, is to whittle away at tank, move forward, corner to corner, cover to cover, squeeze them, and then hit them in the mouth.
Yeah,
right?
Close the distance.
Right. You might even need a Nemesis form, the tank, just to keep yourself alive, to keep pressure on that tank, right? But eventually the goal is to punch squishies. So if you need to ask yourself, what am I doing to get to that goal? And am I recognizing that goal when it's available? If you can't reach them, that's fine. That's why you have Omnic form. But, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I don't think so at the moment.
Sure.
But if any do pop up, I will let you know.
Please do. All right, mate.
Yep.